This video is going to be a look at what the Baltimore Ravens defense did collectively to the Seahawks offense in Sunday's 37-33 win. The defense has had multiple games where they've overwhelmed teams for a half or for three quarters. Look at the Cardinals game last week. We really were in control of that game for 3.5 quarters and gave up 2 late touchdowns. But if this game, along with the Lions game at home, is probably the most unreal outcome in terms of what the defense was able to do, especially early. And that's where I'm going to focus this video, what Mike Macdonald's group was able to do on the first 5 possessions, to the point where the Ravens go up 14-0. It looks pretty incredible. I'll recap it briefly here. First possession, 3 plays, 6 yards, punt. Second possession, 5 plays, 26 yards, punt. Third, 6 plays, 8 yards, punt. Fourth possession, 3 plays, 6 yards, interception. Fifth possession, 3 plays, 1 yard, punt. Pretty unbelievable. The Seahawks figured some things out on their 6th possession. Well, I guess. They got one 50-yard pass play to DK Metcalf for 50 yards on a dig route, the first play of that possession. Thereafter, really didn't do much either in the second half. Pretty amazing performance, if you ask me, by the Ravens defense. And there's so many guys that contributed to it. So many guys made big plays. And my intention in this video is to show you about 12 or 13 plays that just illustrates how many different coverages they're playing, how many different things Mike Macdonald has these guys doing. And we should all give credit to all of the coaches on the defensive side, not just Mike Macdonald. There's some coaches whose names we don't know. Over there on the defensive side, there's at least one name that we all do know, Chuck Smith, the outside linebacker, edge defender coach. But there's so many guys doing a fantastic job over there as far as coaching. If you ask me, it's really ridiculous in the modern game of football to have 2 home games like we've had against Detroit and against the Seahawks, 75-9 score differential. That's not what the NFL wants, so we should anticipate some correction at some point in the next 2 or 3 weeks, if you know what I mean. But if you think about the last 3 games, throwing the Cardinals game in there, 12 quarters of football, 11 of those quarters have been utterly dominant by our defense. Taking away the 4th quarter for a minute against Arizona really angered me and perturbed me because our level of play should be higher. Our expectation levels should be higher. But 11 of those 12 quarters, I think we've given up 16 points. If I did my math right. 9 points combined between the Lions and Seahawks home games, and I think the Cardinals went into the 4th quarter with 7 points last week. I could be wrong. Even going back further than that, if you look at the entire season, I think this defense has given up 7 touchdowns, and I might be wrong there. If I am right, or if I'm off by 1, we're still halfway to a ridiculous, borderline historic season, if you ask me, in terms of the number of sacks that we've generated and the number of touchdowns that we've allowed. I don't know what the record is. I know that our defense in 2000, didn't allow a touchdown for 5 weeks, but only won 3 games. Let's get to some of the film. I never really liked my lead-ins to be more than 3 minutes, but I'm going to try to cite as many guys as possible in this video. One guy I didn't mention in the reaction video, I forget who it was that pointed it out to me. Patrick Queen played really well. Doesn't get the statistical credit for it, but he played really well. This is the 3rd and 4 incomplete pass to JSN. It's against man. And you can see we're bringing pressure. Kyle Hamilton damn near gets a hand on this ball. And that's one thing that I think we really do a great job of. It's not just getting our hands up to actually deflect balls, but getting in the window of the quarterback and making it to where he's maybe got to adjust his throwing lane. Now, this ball is dropped through no fault of Geno Smith, but we're constantly in the quarterback's visual field with our defensive ends, our D tackles, or our blitzers like Kyle Hamilton. We don't knock the ball down there. Clearly, JSN could have caught that football to gain a first down, but everything is, well, that catch wasn't challenged by JSN, but everything that Geno Smith tried to do on Sunday was challenged. There was resistance there. This was clearly a focus of the Seahawks offense, was running to the weak side, running away from the strong side. You got trips to the downside of the field, to the wide side, boundary side is up here. They tried this 3 times early on and got nothing. It'll be interesting to me to see what other teams do. I never really saw the boot by them at all. I'll show you a second iteration of this where we're running a stunt to basically track down Geno Smith if he does boot out of there. But this is Clowney on the backside. Look, the tight end has scooped inside of him trying to work up, and Clowney just goes down the line. He's super athletic for his age, and even though he's been on so many teams, we're getting so much out of Clowney, Van Noy, Owe. Those guys are playing great. Malik Harrison as well. 2nd and 8. after that 2-yard run. This is going to be complete to Lockett. This is their biggest play of the game up through that 50-yard completion to DK Metcalf. But look at the level of execution that Geno Smith has to have. First of all, this is a half field read, a flood concept that they run a lot. It's smash basically to the top side. But you do have a secondary route coming over here, 89, that gets over the top of Roquan Smith. And then I think this late one is even an in-breaking route up there. But it's a great throw and a great catch by Lockett. That's the standard that you got to get to generate big plays against this Ravens defense. The nickel is set into the boundary, which is interesting. I think it's because Lockett is over here. You got Millette, Hamilton, and Stevens on the left-hand side, which is their typical side. Geno Stone, Millette, and Humphrey over to the right. Pardon my French. Stevens and Humphrey actually switch sides on that one. 2nd and 5, I think 2 plays after that one. And very similar to the first play I showed you, it's going to be a run to the weak side. You can see the ball is here, the left hash, and this is the boundary side. This is the field or the wide side. We're running a stunt with Clowney. He's going to dig inside C-gap and run down the line, attack. Hamilton is off the edge and could potentially veer off for the boot to not give Geno Smith time. But also, too, think about this. What if it's run to this side? What if it's the same run concept to this side? We're attacking. Hamilton is coming downhill now. If it's to the side, what's the tight end going to do? Step to Hamilton? Then how do they deal with Clowney? I guess the tackle steps to him. Cool. If the tackle steps to Clowney and the tight end was to step to Hamilton, then our frontside inside linebacker is unblocked. I'm talking about if the entire picture was switched with the run concept, the way they're blocking it. It's almost like a foolproof stunt to stop the run. It's 2nd and 5, so this gets to what Mike Macdonald does, if you ask me, has the right call in at the right time. Seemingly all the time. It's really unusual, very notable to me that we are constantly in the right call. There's got to be some communication happening on the field to get these guys in the right look, whether it's inside linebackers, whether it's the safeties or whatever. But you can see it's a 2nd and 5. They're on our side of the field on the second possession. They run the football and get a 1-yard gain. Sets up a 3rd and 4. And Clowney again. 3rd play on this possession. He's down here at the bottom side. This is going to be his pass deflection on a pass rush. We are brilliant at this. I think it's man-free with a 4-man rush, and Roquan, I think, is just reading Geno Smith's eyes. You can see Roquan is flying out of there. Maybe he's not reading his eyes because he's gone already. Clowney one-on-one against the right tackle. We're running a stunt with the 2 D tackles. Matabike and Pierce, they have switched. Clowney's able to get his hands up, knock it down. Doesn't necessarily look like to me the lane is super wide open down here to the field side, but Lockett is their 3rd down guy. He's the guy that they're going to look for, and you can see he's got leverage on the corner. Roquan is breaking from an inside-out position. Probably going to have a chance to be completed, but not going to be a big gain, if you ask me, like Romo said. In any case, timely stuff that Clowney does. I don't think he ended up with a sack yesterday, but he certainly played a role in a lot of the big plays, especially early in those first 5 possessions. 3rd possession, the Ravens actually had to punt for the 2nd time, give the Seahawks the football back, and again, we're in the perfect call. Don't ask me about this blocking scheme. I'm not sure what the heck we're doing here, but it's not a toss designed to get to the outside. It's like a short toss to then follow this tight end H-back, presumably, I guess, to lead up an ISO on an inside linebacker. We just destroy the whole play with 2 things. Kyle Hamilton blitzing off the edge, and then Broderick Washington in the 3 technique down here on the right-hand side, blows up the scheme of the play completely by stunting into the A-gap. And look at what he's done to the left guard and the tight end H-back who was leading for Charbonnet. Tackle for loss, Kyle Hamilton. It's amazing. We are constantly in the right call and able to thwart whatever teams want to do. 13 carries for 24 yards for those 2 running backs. Sets up a 3rd and 3, I believe here, and it's complete to Lockett. Again, the window isn't too large here. It's not like this is a really big window, number one. Number two, imagine you're Geno Smith, and after this possession, you go back to look at what we're running defensively. This is damn near a cover 2 that we get to by Hamilton getting out to the flats. It's not a real cover 2 because Marlin would be, closer into this area near the top of the numbers, kind of matching Geno Stone. Hopefully I don't say Geno Stone and Geno Smith interchangeably in this video, but you got a corner in the flats, Hamilton in the flats. Those are your matched flat coverage guys. Guy in the in between the hash who could theoretically run in between the hash deep, and then your two hook defenders looks like Van Noy and Roquan Smith. The way we get to this is interesting, if you ask me. I'll let it run back one more time. Van Noy and Hamilton are down here. Van Noy's dropping out. Hamilton's dropping to the flats. I wonder if some of the times when these guys go over and look at things in between possessions and talk to their coaches, talk to their quarterback coach, it's like, what the hell are they doing? How are they getting to all these different looks? Now, in this case, he's able to get a 3-yard, but that's everything he's got to process in terms of who's dropping out of here. I did think Romo did a really nice job of crediting the Ravens defense for being so multiple and using so many players interchangeably in terms of the pass drops. I thought that was one of the things did a really nice job of. So that was a disguised cover 2, if you ask me, that Geno is able to take advantage of and get the first down, but again, only for a 3-yard gain. Ball still hasn't reached midfield after a first down. 2nd and 11. And this is going to be a pass incomplete that I think everybody thought was just a poor throw by Geno Smith. But if you take a look at the end zone angle, I'm not too sure that Van Noy doesn't tip this ball somehow. Now, he clearly doesn't get on top of it, because if he gets on top of it, then the ball's not going to dig down into the ground like it did. And we'll show you the All-22 again here in a moment. But damn if his hand and finger don't look really close to the side of that ball, if you ask me. Van Noy's another guy. Well, he had the consecutive sacks on their 7th possession, to get us the football back and get us, an opportunity to get a field goal. But this is just what we're doing. We're able to be multiple in coverage by rushing 4 and making the quarterback worry about, how we're getting to him. You can see we've got double stunts here. D-tackle going up the field. I think that's Washington. And then Oweh going underneath. Credit the Seahawks. They did a nice job picking it up. Similar stunt here. Van Noy going in first and then the D-tackle second. So while you have conceptually similar stunts here, there's a little bit different way or flavor that it's happening. If you guys want me to expand on that or maybe do a video, I can. 3rd and 11. This is Madubuike's sack. I think you've got a hard-coded rush to the outside for Van Noy here at the bottom of the screen. So there's going to be a stunt going on here that I'll go into a little bit more detail from the end zone angle in a moment. But I think Van Noy does a great job of getting low on the stunt. Additionally, I think there's a hard-coded edge rush stunt out here, meaning outside, for I think that's Oweh up at the top. You can see those guys are getting up the field to the depth of the quarterback, trying to bend back in. Van Noy is low. You get a view of it as well from the end zone angle. But this is how brilliant Patrick Queen is in this defense. He has picked, screened, whatever you want to call it, the left guard, allowing Madubuike to get one-on-one with the H-back or tight end. I think it's Fant, who is lined up in the backfield. This is a moment when I thought, okay, we've got them in a situation where they don't know what is happening, because they're putting the tight end in the backfield. Basically, I call it jokers, for extra protection. So hard-coded edge rush speed, hard-coded outside edge rush speed, and then this is Queen. He's going to edge up here, and you're going to see him pick, and then Madubuike is going to be able to get around this. These are not necessarily just organic wins by Madubuike or some of our other guys. This is kind of the scheme. Additionally, with this, you also have, and I don't know how much detail you guys want, you also have pre-snap. Pierce is on the right. He's going to move all the way across. He is not trying to get to the quarterback, in my opinion. This is all designed for one of these 3 guys to win on this snap. And I think that speaks to the unselfishness of Patrick Queen, the unselfishness of all of these guys. There's nothing better than seeing a group of people so committed to the end result that they don't care who gets the credit. That's what I think I see here, is these guys willing to commit to the scheme and really don't give a crap about who gets the credit. And they look really happy for each other. Madubuike's, 8th, 9th sack, whatever it is. I know he's got one that was called back for a penalty. Ridiculous level of play. We finally made it 7-0 after that, and here we've got their 4th possession. It's going to be an incomplete pass to the tight end up into the flats. Again, you got just pure chaos in the backfield. Geno Smith just does not look comfortable at all. No real stunt initially, but Pierce is definitely looping around Van Noy. You will get the end zone angle to see that. It looks like a little bit of a delayed stunt on this, like it's 1st and 10, so we're trying to make sure that it's a pass play. Once we just see that it's a pass play, I think these 2 guys, Pierce and Van Noy, process it and then run the snap or the stunt that is called. Spin inside by Van Noy, looks high on that in terms of his chest level. Pierce looping around. I think that's intentional, guys. I don't think that's by accident. This is kind of like what Mike Macdonald does. Again, I saw this in the backfield live, and I was like, what are they doing? These are some slightly unusual things. It's not that teams don't do those occasionally, but it's 1st and 10. Kenneth Walker being offset there doesn't exactly put him in a position to run the football effectively. The Ravens do a great job of getting people out of their flow. It's mislabeled. I think it says 1st and 10. That should say 3rd and 4, because I think this is the interception by Geno Stone. So that's a editing mistake by me. We definitely get to a cover 2 look with Stone and Darryl Worley up at the top side. You can see, I think we did a great job of rotating Millette, Hamilton, Worley in and out in terms of their usage when they were on the field. We dropped out of here. Definitely have a cover 2 corner. It looks like Marlon is carrying that man to me on the backside, and Geno does a great job of reading Geno Smith's eyes. And you can see when the ball is thrown, Stone is already breaking on it over the top. It seems like they really wanted to target Lockett a lot. I mean, you've got the man-to-man matchup backside with Marlon and Metcalf. I'm not saying that he's going to beat Marlon all the time, because I think Marlon Humphrey's playing great. In fact, I think he's playing better than a lot of people are giving him credit for. It just surprises me that they didn't go to Metcalf that much, and I think it speaks to the pressure we were bringing and how rattled that I think Geno Smith was at times. And I don't really want to use that word for an NFL quarterback because they've seen so much stuff in their career, especially his. He's 33 years old. But it seemed like we really got him off balance, and he wasn't comfortable in the pocket at all, trying to get things developed downfield. And then when he did, like this one, we intercepted. All right, 5th possession. This is after, I think, Maffei's strip sack, I believe, of Lamar. So they've got the ball now. 1st and 10, nearing midfield. And they're going to run the football out of 13 personnel. I've seen Walker do this to the Lions this year and to the Cardinals. What I mean by that is press the line of scrimmage downhill and then bounce it outside. Not necessarily the design of the play, but realizing there's nothing here. And he was just that athletic against those two in those two situations. Let's describe it that way. But not against us. Now, granted, it is to the boundary. I think Brandon Stevens could have pressed down a little quicker, a little sooner, because it's a run read for him. We got 2 tight ends to this side, and we're in our base defense. So our other safety is off screen over here with 2 corners. Stevens is getting a clear read, if you ask me, and doesn't come downhill and press it. But you can see how we've clogged this up for Kenneth Walker III. And then I think that's Hamilton closing in from the backside. He saw that the ball was handed off, so he's relieved of going to the quarterback. Harrison unable to make the tackle, but Roquan Smith and his speed is able to push him out of bounds. 2-yard gain on a 1st and 10. Those situations, those run plays that I've picked to show you, and all of them, to be honest with you, just really made it look like Seattle was surprised at how effective our D tackles and DNs and outside linebackers were against the run. Winning blocks on the front side, making them cut back, making them bounce. Just nothing was there. I'm really interested to see how this Seattle team finishes the season in terms of their run game. We just held them 13 carries for 24 yards. Those 2 running backs, at least. I want to see what else they're able to generate against some other really good defenses. Let me go back to that one time. I forgot to mention something here. Brent Urban, in his 5 technique, he is excellent in a 5 technique, which is an odd technique. Watch him lock out and just cage Walker there. Not really give him anything. Basically, this is called playing your gap and simultaneously condensing the gap in between you. Now, Travis Jones getting comboed up to Roquan, and Travis was unfortunately not able to win on that one. Basically gets overtaken by the backside guy. But I thought it was a great job by Brent Urban. It really illustrates how well he's been playing this year. And then it's 3rd and 14. This is 2nd and 8. My apologies. Another sack. This is Oweh on the spin sack. I think Clowney's got the hard-coded edge rush here. And we're running another stunt inside. Look how we're running it. We're running it with Two guys on the same side, very similar to the one that I broke down for you before. Since it's a right-handed quarterback, I think we feel comfortable spinning inside from our right, which is his left. He'd have to scramble to his left to get out of the pocket. Here's the stunt. Travis Jones working upfield, taking the center with him. Urban stunting around. Clowney, the edge rush here, and Oweh spinning inside. Oweh and Van Noy tried that spin, but I only saw them try it from our right-hand side. Again, Geno Smith is a right-handed quarterback like most, and we tried that spin from his left. So if he was able to escape, it was going to be to his left, our right. Normally, when we did that as well, and I forgot to mention this from the All-22, the nickel was to that side. That's one of the things that I've always looked for is like, hey, if we're going to end up on the inside, is the nickel defender someone else outside of the edge rusher, the outside linebacker, DN, whatever you want to call him? Is there someone else off screen? And there was on this particular play. The nickel was out there when we are spinning inside. So, again, everything is coordinated at an extremely high level. Every NFL defense should be, right? But the level to which this defense is performing, I think, is ridiculous. 3rd and 14, the screen. I'm going to let this run one time. You guys probably already know who makes the tackle because you probably saw it live. I thought it was Queen. The close down of the tackle, I thought it was Patrick Queen. It's Justin Madubuike. I don't even know how to explain what he's done so far this season in terms of playing so well against the run. I think now 7.5 sacks, 8.5 sacks, something like that. And then third, that's a screen to JSN. They've hit those. That was their game-winning touchdown play against the Browns, not necessarily out of trips. It was twins. They've hit screens for big plays this year. This is a 5-yard gain on 3rd and 14. I would like to see Roquan Smith kind of set this inside a little more physically. It's his job to set it inside. So I'm talking about this wall of guys here. Pick somebody, first guy or second guy, pick somebody and blow them up. Set it back inside. But the pursuit of Madubuike, I just don't want to see him fold back over. You know, he's folding back over once he sees the ball redirecting there. I personally like to see him play it a little more physical, but he's such a great player. I mean, how do you criticize very much of what he does? It's 3rd and 14. All we got to do is make the tackle. I don't want to see a lane opened up. Guess it doesn't matter when you have Justin Madubuike, a D tackle who can run stuff down like that. What strikes me about this defense right now is 100% commitment to the scheme. The scheme, the execution, no matter what they're asked to do, they seem to be selling out for each other. Those guys that are running those picks on the inside, Queen, Jones. I thought Pierce ran one. Van Noy, I think, ran one. Basically a late read to allow Pierce to loop around. It's a beautiful thing to watch when the whole group the whole group of individuals are so dedicated that they're operating as a unit. And then when you combine that with their physical attributes, speed, explosiveness, the length of some of the guys, Oweh, Clowney, and then the level of coaching that they're receiving. I mean, this is a potentially historic defense if they're able to keep up this level of play. I think it's still a great challenge to play the Browns and the Bengals in such a short stretch next week, even though both of those games are at home. Kind of cruel of the NFL to give us 2 home division games or 2 division games anywhere, really. Thank God we don't have to travel like the Bengals do in a 4-day stretch. But if anyone's up to it, it's this defense. If you look at the last 12 quarters, the way that they've played, it's been pretty unbelievable. Even the Tennessee game, generally dominated that Tennessee offense. And if you look back to the Browns game, I'm interested in recalling some of the judgments about the Ravens through 3 or 4 or 5 weeks, particularly after that Browns game. You've only beaten teams with backup quarterbacks or rookie quarterbacks. Well, look at what C.J. Stroud did Sunday. Look at what he's done so far this year. He's played amazing. It would be really cool to play them again because that would mean we probably play them in the playoffs and probably play them at home at some point. This Ravens defense can stack up against any offense, if you ask me, when they're operating at this level. I thought Sunday was as impressive, maybe even more so than the Lions win because we stacked it on top of a previous home win against an NFC team. You guys let me know, man. I'm sure everybody was as impressed with our defense. The collective pursuit is amazing. The execution of the D-line stunts, the coverage is, what do you say? The DBs know that quarterbacks are under pressure, under siege at this point. We got 4 sacks in the first half. We're a team that can get 4 or 5 sacks damn near every week. Appreciate you guys' time, man. This is my first video of the week. I'll have a video coming out about OBJ and Mark Andrews, and then one about Keaton Mitchell late tonight after the Monday Night Football game. Appreciate you guys' time. Let me know what you think of the video in the comment section. If you think other Ravens fans would enjoy this film study look at Mike Macdonald's defense painting another masterpiece, then please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it out on social media to help this content get more reach.